Alright, so hopefully this fixes the mic issue. If not, I'll just try and go without my headphones. Maybe that's an issue. Those that logged back in to the new stream, let me know if you can hear voice. I just tried to restart. I'm not sure why it wasn't working before. Great, Brandon. Thank you for that. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm not sure what was going on before. It showed my mic was on, but at least it's fixed now. So this is a little bit more headwind than the last shot on this hole, but a little bit weaker wind, so I don't think I'll have any issue with a max overpower shot to get to this fairway. That's a bad shot. Maybe I still get lucky though. Yeah, I think this is fine as long as it doesn't go in the bunker, but the rough bump there will save me. Didn't play yesterday, so you know, second game in 2 days. Or no, I did play a couple games in the morning yesterday before work. Out from this side, it's a shot that you can make. You know, he's not going to be able to, most likely, from the position he's in because of clipping the rough on his drive. But you know, if you're a little bit further up, you can make this shot to the green, but it either requires a slice shot with the bounce on this this fairway up here that I'm aiming on, or it requires a I'll get to that in a second after I line up the shot. 7. So slight overpower needed. One ring great to the right, should be just fine. I put a little bit of topspin on this. I'm going to likely be on the back of the green or the fringe, just because of the amount far back I was there. I'd actually rather be on the fringe there than be long on the green. I'd rather have a chip there than a long putt. But the shot that guy had, if you have tailwind, you can actually fly your approach shot into the rough kind of behind the right of the bunker you could see in the back of the screen. And you could do a rough bump and get the ball right on the green pretty close. So it's another option for that shot if you're going to go to the right instead of that little fairway patch that most, you know, you consistently see people shooting at on your drive. So it's two options really, the power slice there, or if you get the right wind to do that rough bump. So we'll take this one. Good game. Yeah, so I use this from time to time. Yeah, well, the Spitfire setup, I have 7, but I think 6 and 7 are both 100% accuracy. So I use that from time to time. I have a couple accounts, as some of you may have seen, but like now I have a POC 7 and Cataclysm 7 on every account, so I know those wind adjustments. I have those down. Other clubs I play often, I have those wind adjustments down, so I don't often actually use the app for calculations. Sometimes I will with like sometimes like a rough iron shot or a max shot with a sand iron. So it just depends really. Like, yeah, Spitfire 6 is a big upgrade from that 5 to 6. That's a key club. I would actually, if people have Spitfire 5, I would recommend having or playing Malibu 8 instead, given the backspin. And I think it's a slight difference in accuracy too, but I'd have the multiple bags set up to have options of playing both. So I don't want to go too much topspin, as you see my opponent did go too far. So here I'm doing my adjustment somewhat by the spots that I see in the fairway. So I kind of, like, I hold my overpower. Oh, I went too short. Needed a little bit more overpower, but I hold my overpower and I look for a spot in the fairway or like on the edge of the rough based off where my aim is to see where I need to drag my aim, because you can't do an easy adjustment when you're overpowering there. So like for instance, right now if you see the edge of his when he doesn't have it overpowered, the edge of his target was right at the rough. So if the edge of my POC there back when I made the first adjustment was just before the start of the rough, so I knew that that was 5 rings. So that was my first move on the adjustment. Definitely not as exact as do I want to play? No, I'm gonna go play safer. Not as exact as a method of adjusting, but it works well, I find. I'm gonna play a safer shot here. So that's about 7. That's about 10. I want to land it a little bit further, so I'm going to do a small amount of overpower and max curl. Oh, whoa, coming in hot. That should be fine, though. From here, I'd rather actually be on the fairway or the fringe. I guess I didn't need the overpower, but with the max backspin, I didn't feel I had much risk of going into that back rough, so I'd rather play it like that instead of risking being a little bit short on that bounce. But with that significant of a tailwind, it's going to overplay too. So I should have played probably no overpower. So a little bit of tricky chip here. Yep, missed that one. It's a tricky chip because of that slope. I probably would have been better suited to not play the top spin and just go close to the hole there. But those type of shots, you know, you kind of learn from your mistakes. It's tough to judge, you know, with a 14 plus wind, how much it's going to move the ball, and obviously it moved it more than I adjusted for. And then, you know, the small, as you saw when I was kind of moving around the target, small differences on that that adjustment can have a big big difference as far as the line the ball is going to go to the hole. So that's, you know, kind of what went wrong with that shot, I think, because I think the different spot the ball landed ended up pushing it a little bit behind the hole there. Tournament he's got 2 top 10s and a bronze. Not bad. It's a good shot. Hey, what's up, John? Thank you for the good luck. I saw you were on the note from the prior stream, but my mic wasn't working for some reason. 12 wind, I find I can do a little bit more than 6 topspin with no issue. Need a bit of overpower here. I'll play just fine. I'd rather be a little bit more right here, but being on the left side is not horrible because it gives me a better angle. If I had a, you know, if the wind wasn't, you know, a tailwind like this, I'd have a better angle at the hole. Especially if the wind was going right to left. I try to curl that shot a little bit to take the patch of rough that my opponent almost hit out of play, but just didn't have enough curl on that one. Not going to play max here, close to it though. Just a touch of overpower. Ooh, that might actually fall back in the hole. Go. Between a max Saturn, a maxed backbone, and a... Sorry, I'm just reading the message back. Give me 1 second. Max Saturn, max backbone, or B52. So I think a lot of it depends on the wind, and the hole. Because there's going to be setups where you may want the backspin of the Saturn. So, you know, I think the multiple bag or switching your club for the hole, if you do have holes where you're going to have a long iron shot that the backspin's going to matter. There may be shots where the accuracy and the ball guide of the B52 would be nice too. So I think a lot of it just depends on the wind setup. So I'll get back to that in a second. I find 5 backspin is too much, so I'm just going a touch under. There's 7, 14, you have to over adjust this one quite a bit with this tailwind. Too much curl and side spin, but I'm pin high with this much wind. You know, with this much wind, I mean, that's an okay shot. Not very good, though. He has quite a bit less wind than me. I thought the wind was going to push it a little bit more to the right, but it did not. Yeah, so I'd use the multiple bags because you can set up different clubs. I find a lot of tournaments, though, you're not often using a long iron, so it's just, you know, it might only be a decision between a couple different holes where that's going to matter. I typically have been a bit unlucky there. I find lately, I used to solely use the backbone, or not the the backbone, and then certain clubs or certain holes I would use the B52. Like for instance, I think it was hole 5 last tournament, I would use the B52 because I didn't like the consistency of the rough bump on the thorn, so I was going a little bit shorter on my drive so I could get a min B52. And that was actually a shot that I did use the caddy thing like this to get my min numbers since I don't have that adjustment memorized. But the ball guide of the B52 combined with the accuracy I was finding much more consistent on hole 5 last tournament to go for the albatross. So yeah, I think it depends. Figure it out with your qualifying rounds. Yeah, I'm not sure what hole 6 is. I haven't really, you know, I looked at the holes, but I don't know which hole is which at this point. But I kind of tuned that in on my my qualifying rounds. But yeah, I mean, there may be holes where the B52 is going to be your way to go. I did use B52 last tournament on hole 5, as I said, and then hole 8 to do that rough bump. Yeah, no problem, Ryan. I would say, you know, tune into some of the streams and see. I mean, some of it depends on, you know, if it's expert versus masters that you're talking about. Hold up, don't go on that rough. Yeah, that's going to be fine. So expert versus masters or whatever level you're playing at. But where you get it across to the green from the drive the side into. Yeah, I'm not really sure which one that is, John. I'll have to take a look, but maybe it helps out Ryan there. But yeah, like hole 8, I found the accuracy on it was really great to play that rough bump on the last tournament and hit a clutch shot on the account that I did take gold on to get that rough bump to go, and I needed that shot to get the minus 31 and get the gold. The drive there, didn't really talk about it much, but it's a problematic drive for a lot of people because of the headwind, and it's the fairway that you're landing on slopes into the right rough. So as you saw, my opponent went into the right rough there. That's why I didn't play much curl on my drive. So this second shot here, you saw I wasn't at max Cataclysm, and I played over max adjustment, and then I pulled it back another about 1.5 rings because it's a significant elevation change, so it's going to impact the wind a bit more. Played this shot a bit conservatively because I know that the wind, when it's coming from behind like that, can really push the ball a lot. So I didn't want to go over the green, or potentially if the ball got pushed towards the bunker. So I'd rather it be a little bit short, like on the fringe or right before the fringe, like I ended up there, versus it going over. Yeah, the Cataclysm 7 is pretty sweet club. I mean, I primarily play that since I've gotten some good drops in the Masters chests that I've had some good results in lately on all accounts. So I've ended up maxing out Cataclysm 7 on all accounts. So I think we got this one. Yep. Good game. Yeah, so one of the things I've talked about on some of the past streams are your wood club. A lot of people I'm seeing, seems like cat is necessary in T12. That's actually what I'm talking about right now. It's a question that has come up a lot lately. I think this is valid for both T11 and T12. I don't think cat is necessary. It helps a lot. What I would say, though, is if you do not have cat 7, I would have bag setups that have hammerhead in it. If you have hammerhead, I think hammerhead 5 or 6 will work. So I find the extra yard difference you get on hammerhead when you do have it in 75 yard is really helps you versus the sniper. If you have hammerhead 7, it's an unbelievable club. You have some good topspin and some good backspin. I'll continue in a second. I'm just curious what adjustment he plays here. So he pulled back to +7 on this 14.6 wind. I want to kind of gauge my shot a little bit off how he's playing his. Obviously, I don't know his spin, but it gives me some idea of how far the ball's going to travel. Let me take my shot. I'll continue on the hammerhead discussion. I'll match his ball. 14.9. So he landed about up here. A little bit more topspin. Great lefts. I think I'll be fine though. Yep. Could have used a bit more side spin and curl, but yeah, can't complain about that result. So hammerhead 6 would definitely recommend that club on the vast majority of T12 holes over Cataclysm 5. Absolutely, almost every single hole. And then it's really hole dependent on or wind dependent off your tee shot versus Cataclysm 6, because you do have a significant topspin gain, and I think a backspin gain when you do level up 5 to 6 on Cataclysm. So it really comes down to the hole if you view that the Cataclysm is needed for the extra distance on that hole. If you're going to go Cataclysm 6, say, over Hammerhead 6. But the vast majority of holes, I personally would like the significant accuracy gain of Hammerhead 7 over Cataclysm 5, absolutely, given the spin, and then and then over Cataclysm 6, but the difference is not as significant there. It's just not as significant because it's you don't really have the topspin backspin comparison as much anymore, and then you have the +5 yards that kind of compensates for the lack of the difference in accuracy, so it's more of an even matchup. I'm going to play 2 backspin on this. Play it a little bit out to the left as well. Oh, I forgot. I'm going to have to adjust for Cataclysm. 7, 6. Take off a little bit of backspin quick. Need a little bit of curl there, but that's a pretty good shot with a 12 crosswind. I mean, obviously, you know, that it gives a lot of room for my opponent to get closer, but this is not an easy shot to judge on your amount of backspin, I find. I kind of have it dialed in a little bit now, but it's hard also to judge how much a crosswind like this, it's close to a 45-degree wind, is going to impact how far the ball travels after the bounce. And then you have to over-adjust this hole too, so you may have saw me pull back a little bit after the adjustment to compensate for the tailwind. So he's playing a much bigger adjustment, and he's playing, whoa, I don't think he meant to release that. Yeah, he must have had an auto release there. Good game, even though it's an auto release. Yeah, definitely try out the Hammerhead. If you liked the Sniper prior to T12, I think you're going to like the Hammerhead a lot. You do have to note that you have a 4.1 ball guide, I think, if I remember correctly, instead of the 4.5. So small difference, but that's not going to make a huge difference for you. Yeah, I had one of those auto releases on this account in the last tournament on, I think it was hole 6, and went way, way, way right on the weekend round. And, well, it wasn't hole 6, it was hole 15. Kind of just took away any shot I had. Auto release is, it's probably not a good term for it, but I find when you're taking your shot back and the ball releases, let's say you slightly drag your finger off the screen, or if you're trying to do a max curl shot, so you slightly drag your finger off the screen, or let's say you have a small connection issue that causes the ball to release when you don't mean it to. That's what I term an auto release. So similar to the last time we played this hole, my opponent went a little bit right, and the slope of this fairway pushed him right into the rough. That's why I play mine more to the left and ended up exactly where I want it once again. Finger slip, yeah, I mean, people have all types of different things they call it. A little bit curious if he can play a bump off these rocks here. I'm not sure if this is what he's trying to do. Got my bot. It's a message there. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. Hit the like, hit the subscribe if you want to tune in for more content in the future. I'll try and do some more T12 streams. I'll probably, on occasion, do a qualifying round for Masters or a opening round. I find often weekend rounds are very hard for me to do streams of and play more than like 9 holes in one sitting because just different family commitments I have. So just don't often have 2 hours to play straight. So similar to the last time played this hole, I like this spot right here. As you see, the bounce is fairly consistent, so that's what I'm aiming at. I adjusted it over a little bit over 14.6 and then took it back a bit, and as you see, my adjustment still wasn't enough as I went left of my aim, and then almost I had about a half ball curl there, which saved me. I do that because it it helps compensate for what the wind is going to do to your shot, especially after the first bounce. So I almost clipped that rough there on the roll to the green and needed even more adjustment for that 14.5 or so wind, whatever it was.
Why is Spotify Premium better? Because you can play the music you want, where you want, when you want it. Offline, on demand, without ad interruptions, unlimited skips. Try it free for 30 days. We think you'll like it. And if you don't, we already told you it's free. Tap the banner to learn more.
We'll just have to sync this this chip here, or am I in a putt? No, chip.
Many people are trying to be more mindful of what they eat these days. And if you're one of them, check out GreenWise products at Publix. With organic options,
just checking my landing spot here.
And meats raised without antibiotics ever. So no matter what you're into, we're in your corner with food choices that fit your lifestyle. Because each of us is just trying to be our best self,
Oops, right? Not a good chip, but that should be just fine.
Publix.com/GreenWise to learn more. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Some good results here on the stream. Playing pretty decently. Been hitting either perfect or one bar or one ring great pretty consistently. So, playing pretty good, making good adjustments. I like this hole here. I think it's a difficult hole. I'm going to actually play Kingmaker here. Get rid of these new skinned Kingmakers. I was considering if I wanted to play a Berserker, actually. So I'm kind of judging my landing spot here. I put some backspin on this because of the tailwind I had, and as you see, it landed pretty perfectly. I hit one ring great there, which isn't going to matter with where I put the ball or my aim. So what you may see me play often is I give myself a lot of room. I don't play very risky shots, so I'm often placing my aim where I have room to, hit a ring or two great, and still be in a fine position. Yeah, I appreciate that, Ryan. I mean, I think a lot of what I talk about with how the wind adjustments are and elevation, you can take to any tour that you have, holes that have decent elevation changes, or when you're in Tour 10 and Tour 11, the wind starts kicking up a little bit. So, a lot of the things that I talk about, I think you can definitely apply to play in the different tours. So this shot, I'm just kind of looking at the placement and doesn't really do much to this ball. So I'm going to be a little bit conservative. I play the adjustment almost exact, and I want it, I'll talk about what I did there in a second. One ring great to the right. I still should be fine. Oh, that was a big bounce, but still, that works out. A bit longer putt than I wanted, probably due to the great right. But I like to not play topspin to this hole if I can avoid it, because I find that often the ball just rolls past the fringe and a little bit of fairway into the rough or the bunker. So if I have to overpower the shot versus playing topspin, I'd rather do that. Sometimes people play this the bump of the rough bump for that little patch of rough. I find that the bounce is very inconsistent, so I just try and avoid playing that. I'd rather have the safe shot for the eagle. But what you saw with the adjustment there, I adjusted the wind exactly, then pushed my aim up a little bit, which my opponent's doing the same exact thing, because I wanted the ball to land a little bit further up. Yeah, as you see, like, he was probably playing some topspin there, so that's what I was trying to avoid with my shot, with playing it a bit more safe. It's not a bad rough iron chip from back there. Obviously, if you get it in the sand, it's a bit harder, but with a Nirvana 7 or 8, I mean, he probably has 8, you could do full topspin, and you have room to hit it probably great on both sides and still make it one ring great on both sides. As you can kind of see the size of his target there. The yellow is much smaller than the hole. If he put it in the fringe, he might have room for a grade on each side. I think right now he only has room for a grade on one side based off where he lines it up into the hole. But hits perfect, so no worries. Those short shots, just what I was talking about, I try and line them up if I, can with the size of my target, to be able to hit perfect or great on a single side and still make the shot. So this is almost a pure crosswind, slight tailwind. I find on headwind, if you're doing rough bump, depending on the strength of the headwind, I'm either doing 0.5 backspin or no backspin. Side wind I'm probably going to do, let's see how he does, 6.5. He played that adjustment about 8.5 to 9, I believe. 1 to 2 rings great. Might push his into the... It's coming in a little bit hot. That's interesting, that result of the shot. So I'm going to play this 1.5 rings of backspin. Uh, 6.5. So I play on an iPad Pro. Get a little close. So I play on an iPad Pro. I don't know how the Android tablets work out. I would expect that they're better than... I would expect that they are better than a phone. I used to play occasionally on... I have an Android Galaxy phone. I'm not sure which version it is. I used to play some on that, and I actually found I played better on that than my my iPhone. But I found a considerable improvement that when I switched to an iPad, because I find hitting perfect is much easier, and that's somewhat due to less lag, I find, or less screen delay. Sometimes with the arrow. I also find that putting is significantly easier on the tablet. Not really sure why. Maybe it's just the larger arrow. It's easier to do the timing. Yeah, that's the same I play on. I think the 12.9 or whatever it is too big personally. So I'm on a 10 point whatever it is, 10.5. May upgrade mine to the next version soon, but no need to. So this wind, I think I have no chance at reaching this fairway, so I'm just really lining up the rough bump. Oh, a bit unlucky that I should have gone max, I suppose, or higher topspin, because that second bounce clipped the rough as well, or I would have been close to probably a little bit over 290 yards on the drive and had a much easier second shot. Going back to that shootout, one of the things I was going to say, it seemed like the 1.5 backspin was perfect. But as you may have seen on that shot, I put a little bit of right side spin on that hole, which, I mean, that hole is on a couple different tours and shootouts. There's that little bump on the right side there where the green really narrows. So I try and do right spin, especially if there's a right to left wind, to push the ball back into the bump, which pushes it right into the hole, and I've had some real good results. Opponent's playing the safer shot on the left side here. This I played this shot plenty of times too, and it gives you a better angle at the flag. This is a bad wind. There's no chance I can get there. I'm not sure if my opponent will be able to get there because he has Yeah, the headwind is direct at him. It's 7 rings. I've never played on an iPad mini. I know plenty of really good players play on the iPad mini. So, you know, they have good results. I know Tommy plays on an iPad mini. You know, it sounds like Sage has played on both, and obviously the iPad Pro is a much more powerful device. So, you know, that'll make a difference. As you see my opponent here, even if he was playing Cataclysm with 8 yards more, there would be no chance he can reach that second fairway there. So with this significant wind, the shots between, you know, the difference between what we played doesn't really matter. If I had a shot that was maybe over 295 yards on my drive, I would have had a chance of reaching that second fairway, but with a 14 wind that was almost pure headwind, it might have been I might not have been able to. Yeah, each version that they'll come out with has you know, better RAM and all that, so you know, the difference may not be as significant. Do I want to play this? Yeah. Good shot there. Adjusted that one 15 rings for 10.5. I was a little bit undecided if I wanted to play a Min Thorn versus that shot there that I just played. So I feel like I have the adjustment down pretty well on max wedge shots like that. So that was why I went with that shot. If I played Thorn, I think I could have played the bounce similar to that. You could have played the max backspin, or you could have even gone for the dunk, but I don't think there's a big difference. I think it's just a comfort factor which way you choose. He's adjusted basically the 10.8. He went over 5 rings. I think this is an over adjustment from this distance. Compensated with hitting it great, but yeah, still, even with hitting it great, a ring or two to the right, it didn't compensate enough for the over adjustment. I don't think he wants a rematch, given the good luck, but we'll give it if he wants. Running really good right now. 6 winning streak. Yeah, again, thank you to everyone for tuning in. Hit the like, hit the subscribe if you enjoy the content. I'll keep putting out T12 and the occasional, you know, Masters streams. Not sure whose alt this is, and Wolfpack appears to be a pretty good player, though, given you know, some top 10s and Masters, and obviously some other medals. Pulls up right before the rough there. It's a nice shot. So I'm going to go with 6 topspin here. The last time we played this hole, I went with 6.5, but it was a bit stronger wind. One ring great left is not going to help the result of the shot, but I still should be fine. Stop, 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 stop. No. The great left, even hitting perfect, I think I had too much there. A great right would have been probably what I needed to stay in the fairway there, so a little bit too much overpower or a little bit too much topspin there. It's a nice shot. Let's see what I get here. I really have no clue what the hook shot adjustment is on this, or the slice shot, but little risk in trying it. It's about 23 rings right there. Last tournament, need more than 23 rings, obviously. It's probably about 28 rings you need. Last tournament, this account I didn't place well in. Let's see. It's actually my first not top 10, so 37th the last tournament. Everything else has been top 10s or better in Masters. I did have one where I got the gold and another where I got a silver in Masters. It was actually the silver was the first Masters medal that I had got on that account, so it was the last account that I did not have a Masters banner on. Real hard shot right here, so I play these shots a lot just by feel. So 13. One ring great right and miss way right. Yeah, so a first and a second in Masters on 2 different accounts, and now all accounts have a purple banner. Get rid of this weird song. Try and just put some like background music in this with like some beats or something that's not too distracting. So 13.8, 45 degree, wind here in the face. I don't think it's going to be possible to reach this this fairway patch. Yeah, you see John is going the other side. I could pull out a power 4 wind 3 ball here, but even with that, with this significant wind, I don't know if I have any shot at making that that bounce there, so I'll probably play the same unless I have a significant difference in wind. I'm under 13, maybe it changes my decision. Yeah, I have more wind than him, so I'm definitely playing the same shot. Gonna aim it from here. Yeah, that's not a good shot, but we'll still be fine. So the curl there that I did was, it would seem like, given I want the ball to push more left, it may not make sense, but given the wind direction, I wanted to make sure I wasn't clipping the little piece of rough there that sticks out after that bunker, so that's why I did a little bit of curl against the wind to the right. Nice shot by John here. I was a little bit curious to see if he was going to be able to make that type of shot. So I'm not far enough to try and play the rough bump beyond the sand here, so I have to go for a similar shot as John, or go for the slice shot. I'm gonna actually go for the slice. Oh, just not enough. I felt like I didn't have as good of an angle as John, that's why I decided to go for the slice. So, I felt like I had less chance of being able to curl enough and get that shot. Also, John hit it, I think, right a ring or two to the right, which helped his shot. So, no, definitely a very good shot by him. I just didn't feel like I was gonna have that shot, and I felt like trying the hook shot was a better option there. This is a very hard shot, given the elevation change on the green. As you see, like, I'm much higher up here. Let's see. It's about 2.5 rings, I'm guessing. Yeah, still nowhere close to enough adjustment there, and I adjusted 2.5 rings for that very short rough iron chip, and needed like another 1.5 rings, I feel like. All right. This is a pretty challenging hole, especially with this wind. It makes it a very, very, very hard eagle, and if you have any headwind on the second shot, it's almost an impossible eagle, and unless you sink like a thorn shot. It's a very hard drive, though, too, to position yourself to have a shot into the green. Looks like he's going overpowered. I think he's going safe, though, either way. Yeah, getting more wind than him again. That's not very lucky. So I'm going to judge this from landing right about here. As you see, my ball guide is going into the bunker, but I'm going to compensate for that with a fair amount of curl. Need a little bit more. Perfect shot. Let's see how that ends up. Hopefully it's not too much curl. Oh, that is a bit unlucky. Just clip the rough there. A little bit too much curl, I suppose. Without clipping the rough there, I think I would have been perfect at about 400-yard drive, and especially with this wind, would have had no issue of getting to the green. With this wind, I still can try for the green, but I don't. It's a very, very low percentage shot. So there was a question about long iron here. Like, that shot from my opponent is likely long iron range. So, like, this is a situation where a long iron with backspin would definitely be very helpful. I'm really, on this shot, just guessing. So
Get a free 30-day trial of Premium and enjoy any song, anytime. Grunge in the garden.
I'm guessing a land position there.
Trap on the train. Whatever, whenever. You're the boss. Try 30 days of unlimited on-demand.
One ring great to the right, should be fine. I'm in the bunker, though. The one ring great to the right was the difference there. If I hit one ring great left, I think I hit that patch of rough and roll right on the green. It was kind of the shot like I was judging for, with that amount of overpower of trying to hit the rough right there. But very little room for error in that shot, which is why this hole plays so hard. Even if you position your drive really good.
Some job boards make you sort through tons of the wrong resumes, which makes finding a good candidate like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. That's not smart. The smart way? ZipRecruiter. They actively find and invite qualified candidates to apply. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for, the needle in the haystack.
I played the curl on that shot too because I find the fairway slopes away, so it pushes the ball further left usually, so that's why I played the curl to the right. On the bounce, it pushes it to the left. Alright. Hey Parth, how's it going? I'm gonna play a little bit further up. Just missed that one. Maybe I get lucky. Ooh, lucky. It might have just been a good spot on the green there where I could have hit perfect or great on one side. I wasn't really trying for that like I do line up some shots. But, you know, obviously it's a great result there. Play a couple more on stream. Maybe I'll stream a little bit later. Got some things to do today. Overall, I feel like I've been playing really well today so far, so we'll probably see if I can continue that later. Maybe play like 4 more games or so on this. Pretty significant headwind here. Overplay this adjustment a bit. Yeah, 2 rings great. To the left, I think I'm still fine now. So where I started that aim, like that, I kind of talked about that a little bit earlier. I play pretty safe, especially when I have to overpower shots if I can. So there, like I aimed where I had room for, you know, easily even a good shot. I think I had the clear ring touching the rough, maybe. I mean, there's no reason to go more risky than that. This is a shot coming up, this approach that a lot of people struggle with. On the adjustment, you are gaining elevation, so you have to under adjust. Tailwind, you can't play the backspin shot from over here, or you can, but you have to have a pretty exact adjustment to get that shot to work out. So I'm playing it a little bit short to the right of the hole given the wind. I'm at max club, so we'll see the adjustment here. 7. Play it right about, that's about 10.5, maybe more like 10. Perfect. One thing I'm finding out with this hole is your adjustment as far as taking back, like bringing it back with tailwind, you have to play under like I just did. Like I played more like a 10 adjustment for 12.5, but the left to right adjustment, you have to play more like the actual wind is playing. So I think like pulling it, you know, north-south back the way I did was proper, but I obviously needed a little bit more to the right for that crosswind. He's got more tail, and I think he played almost exactly 11. And this is exactly what I was talking about. You know, playing 11 there, you know, he put it into the bunker because of the change in elevation. And this is a tough bunker shot here, too. It's not a long bunker shot, but you know, you have elevation change to account for, and it's you know, an 11 crosswind still. It's gonna move the ball a bit. Yeah, great. He needed a perfect shot there. See if Viper wants rematch. Oop. Played this a couple times on the stream here. With this wind, we can play this other way though. See a different type of shot, at least. I'm actually gonna pull this out. I'm not gonna play this shot, but it's more to judge my spin. I had, I think, 6.5, 13. Move it a little bit safer to the right there. Great left isn't going to help that, but I think I'm still fine. So I pulled out the Berserker there just to judge the bounce and the spin. As you could see, it kind of helped me judge my adjustment a little bit more. I didn't play it from the max plus 16 on the Apocalypse. And then also I knew that, you know, my spin, which was I think about 3.5 to 3.75 top spin, was appropriate for where I was going to land that ball. It's easy to put this one, if you put too much topspin on it, long into the rough, which you can still reach the green on that shot if you put it long in the fairway on the rough. Issue my opponent just had there was he overpowered his drive, which on this hole results in you hit a part of the fairway there that does not give you a good bounce, and the result was the bounce was straight down and, you know, put him into the rough and sand there. So this is pretty much a max Goliath here. See how this turns out. It's going to be close. I think I got it. So I knew that the ball was going to roll a little bit more to the right because of the wind plus the slope of that green. So on that shot, some of you may have noticed the ball guide line was a little bit left of the hole, and it was exactly due to just kind of knowing how that green plays and that bounce plays a little bit with that wind. Thanks, Ryan. Yeah, had some really nice shots this stream. Had that max Endbringer shot for the eagle, that albatross. Not on this video, that will be on playback, but the short one hole where I had started the stream and the mic wasn't working, dropped the hole in one there on the shootout. So I definitely feel like I'm playing really good. Got Dean here. So I'm going to go a little bit less, like 5.5 topspin here, given that last shot we did put into the rough. This shot with this wind, I play a bit closer to the rough here. One bar great to the right, I think, is going to be fine. Exactly where I wanted it. I think perfect shot. I'm a little bit closer to the rough there, but I still think it's fine, and maybe even one great left would have been okay, but that would have been really close. This must be one of the accounts that Dean plays primarily in tournaments, that he just forfeits out holes in on the shootouts to play a faster tournament with that percentage. Definitely a really good player, so he's playing a Kingmaker Axe. I'm wondering if he doesn't have a Cataclysm set up here. I think he hit 2 bars great to the left side, so that might be trouble for him. Ooh, just pulled up. He should just be fine with that shot, given having some extra yardage with the Kingmaker X. So it looks to be just a little bit of headwind. So I'm going to try and curl this right in the hole. Yeah, it's a slight amount of headwind.
3, 2, 1. New year, new you. How about new year, new smile? Oh, in 2019 with a smile.
See how that goes.
We brighten teeth and straighten smiles for 60% less than
A bit too much curl.
aligners sent directly to you. Most smile journeys take an average of
I think I either needed a little bit more backspin or more overpower there, because I ended up a little bit low of the hole. Maybe not. It looks to be almost pin high there, so I think I had the spin and power down.
First, we lock your interest rate for up to 90 days. Then, if rates go up, your rate stays locked. But if rates go down, your rate drops. Either way, you win. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com. Rate shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed rate loans. Call for cost improvement.
Dean will go overpower on this. Yeah, you see he's going overpower because his adjustment was going to be right into the rough. One ring great right. Might be trouble. He might... Nah, he's fine. Wow, very, very close. He put enough overpower on it, so it wasn't going to put him in jeopardy of the rough there. So the question on Cataclysm 7 there on this hole, I think a lot depends on the wind. Sometimes the rough bump is good. There was a recent tournament where this hole was played, I forget which one, where the rough bump was a decent play. But I find that the rough bump too can be very inconsistent on a max distance shot like that. And obviously you need the proper spin to get through the rough, and you have that sand there that's going to also potentially give you some problems if you land in the sand rather than the rough. So I think it's a risky shot. I personally, rather than a rough bump, would play a max curl shot out to the left of the hole a bit more. And then you have a lot of room if you play that max curl. Just looking at his adjustment, he's going from plus 22. I'm wondering if he's going max backspin with that much adjustment. He was a ring or two great. He's a bit short. So yeah, I'd rather play the max curl shot because you have a lot of room to the bottom left of that green to be in the fairway. I'll get back to that in a second. So I'm playing this one 4.5 because the significant headwind. And I'm actually going to overpower some. Ooh, the great isn't going to help me, but I think I'm still fine. Yeah, close enough. Still, with I could have played that probably 3.5 to 4. Yeah, I mean, you have a lot of room on the fairway to the bottom left of that hole. So, you know, I'd rather play a safer shot and know that I'm going to have a chip versus being stuck potentially in the rough or sand. And that's a really hard shot from the rough or sand there. So, I'm actually going to cut the screen here. I got some things to do. You know, some really good results on the stream. Ended up with a 4-win streak. Just looking at the games. John ended up taking that series from me 2-1, but I started out with a game versus Patrick here. That's the high-o on the other stream. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 games. And I think I ended up 2 losses there. I think I only had like 3 losses in the stream, so really good results. I mean, I started out with just over 5 million coins, so I may have only had the 2 losses, so really good play. Really pleased with results. Started out with like 5.03 million coins, ended up with 5.28, so really good play. I'll probably do another stream a bit later tonight. Once I get some things taken care of today and get some dinner. So, thanks for everyone tuning in. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and I'll continue putting stuff out there for you guys. Hope it was helpful. Take care, everyone. Have a good day.